So the first thing I want to do is I want to go through how to construct an equilateral triangle. And it's its own method or separate method than what I'm going to talk about for all regular polygons, but I just want to make sure you see it. It's very quick and easy. And, if you have to construct an equilateral triangle, easiest thing to do would be to construct one side of your triangle using the segment tool. And then from each endpoint of this side, just construct a circle. The ends on for which this segment is a radius. And once you do that, you'll find one of these intersections either above or below will create the third vertex of your equilateral triangle. So if you highlight all three of those points, hit Control L, and then you can just highlight your two circles, Control H to hide them, and you have your equilateral triangle. Again, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how you rotate it, adjust it. It's going to be an equilateral triangle. All right. Now, we already did squares in the last chapter. And so what I want to do is just talk about, in general, how to create regular polygons, which will include another method for equilateral triangles and another method for constructing a square. Okay, so to do that, I also just want to show you, so in case you want to clean up your pages a little bit, you can create pages on your sketchpad. It's very easy. If you hit this File button, or the File link, and choose Document Options, you can then just add a page. You can either duplicate your previous page or just add a new one, and you can access the different pages down here on the tabs at the lower left. And so, again, you're more than welcome to do that when you're doing your constructions. All right, so let's take a look at how to construct regular polygons. All right, the idea of constructing these on Sketchpad is based on what we talked about yesterday in the notes, and that is when you take any regular polygon, you can break this regular polygon into reference triangles. And these reference triangles are isosceles triangles. Okay, so remember, you're using these reference isosceles triangles. And then all you need to do is you need to figure out how many of them you create. Well, you have one reference triangle for each side. And so the last thing that you need to do is be able to know when we create these regular polygons, what we're going to do is we're going to construct these sides of the isosceles triangle. So we need to know what the rotation is from one to the next. So we need to know what is the vertex angle of these reference triangles. Okay, so the vertex angle of this reference triangle can be calculated by doing what? How many of those angles are there going to be in this one full rotation? In this case, 5, right? One for each triangle. So the vertex angle is simply going to be the full rotation of 360 divided by the number of triangles that are formed along that rotation, or n, the number of sides. Okay, so these are the concepts that we're going to use to construct a regular polygon using Sketchpad. Okay, so let's take a look at how this would work. Okay, step 1, construct one side of your isosceles triangle. Okay, so whatever segment you create here, that's going to be this side of your reference triangles. Okay, so I'll go ahead and mark these, or label them. And so you're going to create one side of this reference triangle. Once you do that, you're going to mark the center. And remember, this regular polygon can always be inscribed within a circle. So you want to mark this center point. So choose one of the points to be the center, or the center of your polygon, or the point at which these sides are going to rotate about. And the way that you do that, in a nice easy way, is you just double click on the point. So if you double click it, notice it kind of pulsates. Okay? When you double click on that, and that marks it as the center. And now you could also right click on it and choose Mark Center. You could also click it and up here under this transform command choose Mark Center. Okay, all of that identifies that as the center of your polygon, or the center of what you're rotating. Okay, the next step after that is to select the segment and endpoint, not the center. Okay, so what you have to do is select your segment and the point that's not your center. And then your last step here is you're going to use the transform command, rotate, to complete your polygon. So what we're going to do is, again, highlight our segment and the point that's not our center. And we're going to go up here under transform, and we're going to rotate. Okay, notice the default setting is a rotation of 90 degrees, and you can see this ghost image show up. Okay, we don't want 90 degrees. In a regular polygon, or in a regular, let's say we take this pentagon, okay, what is the rotation of our vertex angle going to be? 360 divided by what? 5. You don't even need to know it. All you need to do is type that in, 360 divided by 5. It'll calculate it for you. Now you see your new ghost image corresponds to that, and just hit rotate. Notice it highlights that piece that it just constructed. Keep it highlighted, don't touch it. Go ahead and just go back, transform again, rotate. It saves the measure that you entered. So just hit rotate again. Continue to do that, rotate, and one last time, transform, rotate, and you get all the points or all the sides of these reference triangles that you're going to use. Okay, once you get that point, or once you get all of the points located, your final step is to select the vertices in consecutive order. Use Control L to create the segments between them. And then if you just highlight the pieces inside, so notice here I'm just, again, any piece is selected as soon as it's part of the selector box. So if I just put a little box right in here, it's going to select all those pieces together. And then I can hide those, Control H, and I have my regular pentagon. Okay. All right, I'd like you guys to try to do the same thing with a regular heptagon. All right, is everybody able to get it? All right, if not, I'll just confirm one more time. Okay, step 1, create one side of your reference triangle. Step 2, identify one of those endpoints as the center of your polygon. So I'm just going to double click it until it pulsates. Next step, highlight the segment and the other endpoint. Once you have that highlighted, that's what you're going to be duplicating and rotating. So now you can go to transform, rotate. Again, I'm not rotating at 72 degrees. I'm rotating at 360 divided by 7. Now, if you do this on your calculator, you come up with, and it shows you the decimal form here, 51.429. Now, if you were to type in 51.429 here, if you physically type that in, this regular polygon, these sides, aren't going to match up to be a regular polygon, because that would be an approximation. So just use the rational form. When you enter it, just type in 360 divided by whatever the number of sides is. It'll calculate it for you, and it will actually use the exact value, not an approximation. Okay, so don't type it in even to 4 or 5 decimals. It still wouldn't match up perfectly if you did that. Okay, so we continue to rotate this about, transform, rotate, and it should save your measures each time. We have one more. Okay, so I've completed all my sides of the reference isosceles triangles. So the next thing to do, just highlight the endpoints in consecutive order. Hit Control L. It'll connect them all. And then it's just a matter of hiding the pieces that you use to create it. So if I highlight all those, hit Control H, I have my regular heptagon. And now there's two other things that you might be asked to do with these types of polygons. You might be asked to measure their areas or confirm their areas and measure their perimeters. And the easiest thing to do for both of those is, once again, if you just highlight the vertices in consecutive order and use Control P. Control P fills the polygon, and it's that filled area that will allow you to do your measurements. So you can measure the perimeter. So here's my perimeter of this regular heptagon. And then it also, if you highlight the filled area, choose measure, it allows you to measure the area as well. Okay. All right. So questions on using the sketchpad for these regular polygons? And so really quickly, we can go back here to the first one, and we can use this same methodology to create an equilateral triangle and a square, right? Start with the segment to create our reference triangles, designate our center, select our segment and the other point, rotate this. And now, again, you can either just say 360 divided by 3, or if you know it's 120, which you should, either of those is fine. Rotate a second time. And now you have all three of your sides to create your reference triangles. Highlight the endpoints, hit Control L to fill it, or to connect them. We can hide these points that we use to create, and now we have this other equilateral triangle.